Welcome to the AI Automations for Business podcast. We're your hosts, Katie and Noel, and we'll be discussing how you can use AI for your business along with the latest news, updates, and automations to help you stay ahead of the curve, allowing you to grow and scale your business more efficiently. Please be sure to subscribe, and I hope you enjoy this episode. Hello and welcome back to another episode. Hello, I'm Katie, and as always, I've got Noel here with me today. How are you doing?
Yeah, doing great this week. Yeah, how are you doing?
Yeah, lots better. Got my voice back at long last.
Good to hear.
Makes recording a podcast very difficult when you haven't got a voice.
Exactly, yeah. Yeah, it does. Yeah. But we got through it last week.
Yeah, we did. Just about.
Yeah.
Claude have gone a bit crazy, haven't they, with releasing lots of updates?
Loads of updates, yeah.
Can you just give us the ones that are we actually need to know about? Because some are just random updates that actually we don't really necessarily need to know about.
Yeah, there's some that are down in the weeds and helpful, but not a lot of people would ever use it. But I guess one of the big ones is you can now interact with co-work from your mobile phone. So they've added in a feature they've called Dispatch, which has got like a nice little walkie-talkie icon. So when you've got Claude installed on your computer, you can talk to it using your phone. So you could be out walking the dogs, or whatever. You could be out and about, just pick up your phone and think, oh, actually, I should have started this, or, I could get co-work to do this while I've thought of it. And you can just send it a message and it will have access to your computer like it normally does. And just get to work on those tasks. Yeah, it's pretty awesome how that works.
I think that's quite helpful. Sometimes when you go to events and you're kind of inspired and you just think, oh, actually, that would be really good to look into that. You'd be able to just...
Yeah, you'd be able to just kick off all that research.
Grab your phone. So as long as your laptop or your computer is on and you've got Claude installed.
Yes, yeah.
Okay.
There are some options as well. So you can turn on and off whether or not your computer goes to sleep. So, So that will keep it going 24/7. But if you don't want that, there is a little tick box for that to turn it off.
Okay.
But also linked into co-work as well, they've also released schedules. So you can schedule tasks to happen whenever you wish, which is a really awesome feature because obviously, co-work is there to really dig into long, complicated tasks or whatever. So if you're doing the same thing every week, you can now give it a schedule. And it will just go off and do that, providing your laptop's on and up and running. So that's pretty awesome. Yeah,
very good.
And I guess there's another one. It's not co-work related, but we've got one which is now called channels. So this allows you to connect Claude to things like Telegram or Discord. So they're the only two currently. So if you don't have the Anthropic Claude app, you could then use Telegram and things like that to, connect into things like Claude Code, as well as a chat interface and all that sort of stuff. So, a lot of people online are calling that the Open Claude killer. That's that started again.
Right.
Because it's like, well, now you could just talk to Claude Code and do those instead of, having Open Claude having access to everything and doing it all. So, I think that's only in a research release at the moment, so I don't think everyone has access to that. So that'll be coming soon.
Okay, good to know.
Yeah, and there was also one other update which is within the normal Claude chat, and that's to do with visualizations. And basically now you can get Claude to create any kind of visualization. So you could give it a spreadsheet and then go, right, turn that into an interactive chart, or a diagram, and it will go off and do all of that for you. Really, really awesome feature. And it can also create graphics as well. So I did a quick test just to see how accurate that was. So I said, right, well, map out the night sky above me right now and, create the diagram and I referenced it versus one of the apps I've got on my iPhone, and it got the stars in the right place. And it was like, well, which bit are you looking at, kind of thing. It's all 360, and it was like, oh no, straight up. And I was like, right, straight up, yeah. All the stars were in roughly the right sort of place. So
roughly, or
it was there. It was where it should be. Yeah.
Right.
I can't get my all my sextants out and all that sort of stuff to make sure it's the right angle and degrees. I don't know, but
right, okay.
yeah,
So we don't
it was
know
pretty
how
accurate.
precise it is, but it's
It had a good go.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
Okay.
So it's not just business; he could do anything.
Oh, if anyone needs a side quest,
Exactly. Yeah, if you get bored.
yeah. Okay, so this week we're talking about why most people think AI is about tech and why they're wrong.
Yeah. I guess it can be quite techy, can't it? I guess if you're looking at it from the outside. So hopefully in this episode we'll demystify that for you.
Yeah, I hope so. And we want to say, like, this episode is going to be suitable for anyone who is just starting out with AI or even automations. But as always, if anyone's got any questions about anything we talk about on the podcast, you can either email us and we'll leave our email below, or you can come over to our free LinkedIn group, which is AI Automations Business. And just ask away in there.
Yeah.
Okay, so a lot of people think it is techie and you need like a lot of tech skills. And I think personally that's what might be putting a lot of people off. But actually, really, you just need to have really good communication skills.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I think where we're at today with LLMs and AI, I think now we've hit the point where you could easily use it using your communication skills. I think in like the last few years, I would say you still needed to be a little bit techy to get the best out of it.
I
agree. I think now we're just like, if you can chat to anybody, you can do it, which is pretty awesome.
Yeah. And most people who are business owners already have those communication skills. Most people will talk to people, talk to clients, be able to, write messages, explain things. And obviously that transfers directly into using AI.
Exactly, yeah. I guess with AI, you just kind of need to look at it as if it was somebody working with you alongside you, isn't it? So, it was, how would, the two of us communicate to get a job done, kind of thing. It's like, you just got to have that sort of mentality, haven't you, these days?
Yeah, and those clear instructions.
Yes, yeah.
I think that's really important, isn't it? It's being able to communicate, but it's also just having those clear instructions, like you would explaining it to a member of staff who has no previous knowledge about the task that you're about to ask them to undertake.
Exactly, yeah. Or it could be like somebody on Fiverr that you're getting to do a job or whatever. You need to be like super specific in what you ask for, because although it is getting cleverer and more intelligent and things like that, it does go on tangents quite often still, I would say. So getting that specifics down is really important.
Yeah. So what does good communication actually look like then when you're talking to AI?
So I guess not having like open-ended questions, unless that's what you want to do and have an open conversation. But if you're looking for things that are specific, it's kind of like really narrowing it down. So I would say, like, before you even start a conversation with AI, maybe start to have a think before you prompt, just to get down what everything that you want to get out of it. Because if you start and it starts going on a tangent, it can be quite hard to steer back sometimes, to get it back on the right path and get you what you need. But if you give it what you need first off, then you'll find your outputs will be a lot better. So don't just go blindly typing and chatting away. Just have a little think first before we jump in.
Yeah, it's having that clarity, isn't it? We always say, like, if you give a vague instruction, then you'll get a vague output.
Exactly, yeah.
But if you give it something more structured, then it will give you something that you're actually going to be able to use within your business.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, it's really important. It's also, if you take a step back and start thinking about it as well, you probably think, oh, actually, there's context I could add into this. There's either a website URL or a file that you have access to. You would think, actually, if I put that in, that could make it even better. So, I know we talked about that a couple of weeks ago on the podcast with the context engineering and things like that. So, that is really important as well, to make sure it has a complete picture of what you're trying to achieve.
Yeah, it is basically like you're trying to onboard a new, I don't know, member of staff. You just wouldn't expect them to know everything within your business straight away.
No. I'd always expect it to not get it right 100% first time.
Yeah,
it will get close, but then you, like with a person, you'd be like, actually, I wanted that table to have this information. They go, yeah, sure, okay, we can go off and do that.
Maybe your tone, or maybe you haven't quite given it enough information about who your customer is.
It's really important to give all that up front, isn't it? To get it. Give them what you need.
So as well, like for an example here, I would say, like, you're going to ask it to say, like, write me a marketing email. That's like really vague. Like you haven't given it any information. Whereas if you say, like for me, I might say, write me a marketing email for a membership community aimed at service-based business owners. It's warm and in a friendly tone with a focus on the feeling of belonging. That would actually probably give me something that I could use, or I could like go back and refine it a little bit more, and then make it like really specific for my business. Because as well, like, the first response I find is not usually like the final output, like the final response. Sometimes you do have to tweak it, because sometimes you don't know what you don't want until it starts.
Until you see it.
Start giving you those outputs.
I can't think of a time, even though I use AI daily, I can't think of a time where I've just gone, hey, do this for me, then not followed up. Let's say it's got it completely wrong, but there's always things that you always want to have a little tweak, or maybe explore a different angle or whatever. Maybe it's come up with something you didn't think about, and things like that. So really important. But I guess if you're creating that sort of thing as well, you could also embed that, especially in Claude, when you've got all those instructions and things you're going to do on a regular basis. You could put that then into a skill, and or you can do. So let's say you've had that conversation. You could, at the end of it, you could say, "Well, could you create me a skill that would create that for me next time?" And it will go off and do it and add it to your account. So, you're not having to rehash every single week. It's like, I've got to redo this email again. You're like, with a skill, it will get it, 99% there every time, which is pretty awesome.
So let's give some examples of things that business owners are actually creating with AI that are a communication skill and not a tech skill. And anyone who's listening now and is new to AI could like go and do, straight after listening to this podcast episode.
Yeah, I guess kind of like the easiest stuff to start off with would be probably down more like the marketing route. So you could be creating emails, you could be creating any sort of social media content. You could even give it access to your emails, so you can connect your email accounts into Claude or ChatGPT, whichever one you wish to use, and and then have it, going through and having that back and forth conversation about what's going on, and and then going off and actually creating stuff or responding to emails. So yeah, that saves business owners a lot of time, and I think quite a lot of people do that. I know I do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Also, like maybe client proposals.
Yeah.
It could be like summarizing, like chunky long documents. It could be like writing your sales page for your website. It could be like completely rewriting your website if you wanted to.
Definitely, yeah.
Yeah. It could create, like lead magnets for you. It could even like take previous trainings or programs, masterclasses, webinars that you have taken, not taken, like executed. So you're the one that has provided those webinars or programs, and it could turn it into like a mini offer for you. Or even like a lead magnet if you wanted it to.
Exactly, yeah. And there's also then the web search and research side as well. So you could be going off and doing any sort of analysis on like competitors or whatever. You can just have a chat with your AI, and it will go off and do that for you. So yeah, that's pretty cool as well, to get all that information. Saves you a hell of a lot of Googling.
Yeah.
Yeah.
For sure. Where do you think people go wrong when it comes to like using AI for the first time, and then maybe they've given it a try, it's not giving them maybe the answers, or it's not giving them the result that they are looking for straight away? What do you think are those avenues that people kind of can go wrong with?
Yeah, I think I guess the big thing is being like we've already mentioned, it's being too vague, too open-ended, and things like that. So
what does that look like? Can you give us some like real examples? So because people might not realize that they're actually being too vague. Like it's really hard to know, like if you know, and if you don't, you don't. So it'd be really good to have some examples if
yeah, I
you want
guess
to share some with us.
Yeah. So I guess like being like too vague would be, go off and create me my website, and create the landing page for my website. This is my business name, and this is the sector I work in. Like that's clearly not going to be enough. I mean, AI is always going to give it a go. That's I guess that's kind of a problem with AI, is it's always going to have a go regardless of what you've asked. Some will come back and ask you questions and then go, hold on a minute, that was way too vague, I need more information, and it will prompt you to give that information. But what I would say to ensure that your prompts aren't too vague is to maybe think about, almost like in the sense of like requirements or steps that you're expecting the AI to do. So you could be like, well, here's my website, this is what I do, these are all my services, this is kind of the normal flow, this is the structure I would like it in, and all that sort of stuff. So it's all about giving it as much information as you can or have available. And yeah, if you can give it some requirements and things like that, then yeah, it will do you the outputs will be 10 times better.
I think as well, like a lot of people treat AI, again, like we were saying just now, like the first result is the only result, and that first result has to be perfect.
Yeah.
And then they kind of give up because there's kind of like, well, that's the result it's given me, and actually that's not the result I want. So actually AI doesn't work for me, or AI doesn't know my business.
Yeah. So I do see this a lot on social media with people that have given it a go, and then they'll see something that I've posted or someone else in the AI space has posted, and then go, "Well, it just doesn't work, does it?" And they've kind of given up at that point. They've given it a go, and then just thought, that this isn't for me. But it's important to have that back and forth. You've got to expect to give it more information and have that conversation with the AI in order to get you where you need to be. And it's just like we said, it's just like chatting to anybody in the street or anyone you work with, and things like that, making sure that they understand everything that you want them to do.
Yeah, I think it's a bit of a mindset shift, isn't it? So it's kind of like it's almost like stop feeling like you're using a tool and actually start feeling like you're working with someone. So like I think it's easier when you use Claude, because Claude's a human name rather than ChatGPT. So like when you're talking to Claude, you can like pretend you are talking to someone called Claude, so you're actually talking with them, and it doesn't feel quite so much like a machine or a tool. Do you feel like that there's a bit of a mindset shift with that?
Yeah, and I would say even for me, there's been that mindset switch in the last year or so where things like ChatGPT was a tool, and it was quite I guess it wasn't that great. You had to put a lot of work in to get what you wanted out. So I think now we've gone more conversational recently. It's been a switch for me as well in how I do my prompting and how I get to work with AI. It is. Yeah, it's just like chatting to someone, isn't it? There's nothing. Yeah. You don't need to know how it works, from a technological perspective. You just need to understand how to ask it questions and how to probe it. Yeah,
I think that's definitely the case. So it's kind of not giving up when your first result isn't quite what you want. Have a conversation with it instead of just treating it like a tool. Don't be too vague, and make sure you give enough context, because although like the LLMs, so like ChatGPT, Claude, are really clever, they're not mind readers, so they do need to have context around like your audience, your tone of voice, or actually just what you're looking for, like the outcome that you're actually looking for. What is it that you want it to do?
And I guess also if you get something that isn't quite what you want, you could always have that conversation like you would do with a person and say, well, why did you do it that way? What else could I give you to make this better? You can have that with them. I mean, I've had those conversations for all the time with people. I have them every day with customers, and they're asking me, so why does it look like this? So I was like, oh well, this is why I've done it, and they go, oh right, okay, fair enough, that makes sense. Or we were expecting this. You can have that interaction these days with AI, and it will understand it really clearly these days.
So hopefully we've given you enough information and some courage to really get started using LLMs like OpenAI, so that's ChatGPT or Claude or even Google Gemini. So for anyone who's listening to this podcast, Noel, what is something that they can do today or even this week, a little action step? So someone's listening, never properly used AI before. What's the one thing you'd ask them to try either today or this week?
So, it's hard to narrow it down. You could do, there's so many things, isn't there? But I guess what's really important as like a business owner, and this is one of the first things I ever asked ChatGPT, and I asked it to.
I remember that. That was so long ago.
Like, I know, honestly, it was a lot. It was a long time.
How do you even remember that? Like, I don't even remember like what I had for dinner yesterday.
No, I can't remember either.
Yeah, see, but you can remember something so random as, oh, the first ever thing I asked ChatGPT like 3 years ago
Yeah, I
was
mean, it
this.
probably wasn't the first thing, but it was one of the things where I was like, "Oh wow, okay, that's really cool." Is everyone's businesses, you kind of need to understand like all of your strengths and weaknesses and things like that. So, what I would do is give AI access to your website. Say, look, this is the URL,
Okay, so
and
how do people do that?
so what I would say, right, let's go right back to the prompt, I guess, and build it from scratch. So
Yes.
you would say, look, I want to do like the SWOT analysis for my business, and it would be like, well, go and grab your URL for your website, and then say, well, look, this is my website, my business name, copy in your URL, and then basically then go off and then get it to go through each page. Just say, look, go and do as much research as you can about this business, and then I want you then to come back with like a detailed SWOT analysis of my business. And then that's really all you've kind of got to do. If there's anything, any areas like specifically that you're worried about, then add those in, or whatever, and then just hit enter, see what you get back. You should get back hopefully a nice detailed report of your business. And that's also kind of really cool because you could then add that into like a project within Claude or ChatGPT. And so, that's kind of giving it like an overview of what your business does and things like that. So you could then use that going forward. But yeah, when I first did that for my business with ChatGPT, when it first had web search, I was like, oh wow, okay, this is really awesome. Yeah, I was like, oh yeah, I couldn't get over it. How clever it was. I mean, these days, Claude could put that into a proper diagram and flow charts and all sorts for you, and a
Right.
nice formatted document. But yeah. But yeah, I'd say that's probably a good place to start. It's things as a business owner we should always know. Um, where we're doing well, where we're not doing well. What kind of opportunities are out there. It
Yeah.
can research. You can also ask it to do all the research of like competitors and things like that. So if you do know them,
Yeah.
you can put those URLs in there as well for their website, so it can go off and have a look and see
Right.
what they're up to as well. Yeah. So,
Awesome. Okay. So that is the one thing that you'd ask
yeah.
someone who's never properly used AI before to try this week.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah.
Okay.
As a business owner, definitely. Yeah.
Okay. Okay, another question for you, Noel. What would be the simplest conversation that someone could have with an AI that would actually show them straight away that, oh, this is a communication skill that I need, and actually it doesn't really have anything to do with tech?
Yeah, I guess you could get it to start creating like written content and things like that, and then having that ideation chat with it. So you
Mm,
could say, can you go off and look this up? Can you then create a social media post for that, either for like LinkedIn or whatever, and and then have that conversation back and forth with it to then create that post that you really need. So you're not really going off and searching anything. You're not digging into the weeds. You're just having that playing back and forth with the AI just to get you that output.
yeah.
So yeah.
I would actually go even further with that conversation. So I would tell
Mm-hmm.
it exactly what I want the social media post to do. So do
Mm.
I want people to buy one of my services? Do I want someone to like come and work with me? Do I want it to be like a leadership piece? Do I want it to show my expertise? Like get
Mm.
really clear on that and go, so be like, I want to I don't know, increase my leadership within my niche.
Mm-hmm.
And then I would then have a conversation with it about what your business is about, who you
Mm-hmm.
help, your tone of voice,
Yeah, very
and
important.
yeah, and actually where you're posting this piece of content. So if you're going, well, I post on LinkedIn, Instagram, and TikTok and Facebook, I would really advise you to do each platform one at a time with this prompt. So just stick with one. So say, this is a prompt for Instagram. I'm going to do a carousel post, or I'm going to do a B-roll reel, or I'm going to do talking to camera reel, whatever it is. I'll do a graphic. So it's actually having that proper conversation with it. It's remembering like you're having this conversation with a member of staff who knows nothing about what you want, and it's having that conversation. So then it should, so you've given it all the information. So then, like, if it was a person, they can go off and go, right, okay, I'm going to go ahead and create this in Canva now. I mean, you can even connect your AI into Canva nowadays, which is amazing, but we'll leave that for another episode because we don't want to overwhelm people. So it's just making sure it has all of that information. So then it's just not going to spew out a carousel post for Instagram that's 3 tips to, I don't know, whatever, insert your industry, which is like really basic. It's not going to move anyone. Yeah, people might read it and go, oh, that's helpful, but they're not going to see you as a leader. They're not going to think, oh, I need to go and work with them straight away. They're not going to go and binge the rest of your content or go and look at what offers you have. It's very much like, oh, that was a nice piece of content. Let's move on.
Yeah. We don't want that.
No.
We want engagement.
Yeah. So that's kind of like, I would say, how far I would go with the communication.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. It's just getting into that chatty mindset, isn't it?
Yeah.
I think,
and I always say as well, like, you can't over communicate.
True. Yeah. The more the better, isn't it? That's kind of if you have that mindset as well, it's just like, if I'm not sure if it's going to need it, I'll throw it in, and it might find something useful, it might not, but at least you've given it.
Think of it as an assistant on like day 1 and not like day 601. It's like by day 601 you could probably say to your assistant, oh, we need to do some Instagram posts this week, are you okay to go ahead and create them? And they would go, yeah, sure. Is this still the focus? Yeah, great, okay, off I go.
It won't come back with posts that are green instead of blue, which is your brand colour. And you're like, oh, come on.
Yeah.
Woody, we've been through this.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Well, we really hope we've inspired you to give AI a try and kind of have that mindset shift that actually it is all about communication and actually not a lot about tech. I think if it was a lot about tech, then I wouldn't be using it anywhere as much as I do.
Yeah, you're the good marker for this, aren't you, I suppose?
Yeah. I think actually most of the things that we do and the things that we also include in our membership AI Business Club, I think is a good marker for, because if I don't understand it, then we either need to explain it better or, or put in more steps. Because I would say I'm someone who isn't particularly techy, but there are things that I can now do. So like I can use, any LLM. So, OpenAI, Claude, Gemini, and there are actually automations that I can do, which I never thought would be possible. And again, like, we'll probably do another episode all about like AI automations, like at a real beginner level. But I just feel like those have come on leaps and bounds as well. Like you can actually just talk to those like agents and things like that, and the amazing things that you can create by just talking at it rather than being techy is just mind blowing.
Yeah, because I guess very quickly, even on like the automation front, even they're moving down the conversation route, aren't they? So we've got like Make with their Maya, N8N have got their own chat thing going on. So although you might not know the platform and how it works you could still just have that back and forth conversation to build what you need. So, I think, this year is all about chatting.
Yeah. Chatty. Love it.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, so if you are giving AI a proper try this week, we would absolutely love to hear how you get on, what you managed to create. Come and let us know. Either send us an email, hello@makeautomations.ai, or over on our free LinkedIn group, AI Automations for Business. Everyone is welcome to join that, by the way. It's a completely free group. Or you can come and check us out on School, our membership. It's called AI Business Club. If you want a little bit more help and support and someone to answer all your questions that you might possibly have. But for now, thank you so much for listening, and we will catch you for another episode very soon.